Arohada Kisigi Hodoya Denebanant Dr. Boo Nygren, which Thursday Nahot Lato Hoda, get your Hanaste 1 o'clock, 5:30, Shahada Kis Hodoya, Nikadin Sendon, Kininacha, which Nanishpeke Hadashahegi, at the Mo Naot Letegi, Hodo, Nikil Nashne. Aro Hodo, Sebe Hadistegi, Yegun, Didol Kido, Beninache, Late, Didol Kitle Arek, and Keta Shauda. Halahot Edo, Halahon Nisle, Nisas Anigi, Nana and Neshigi do, Niketa Satanigi da, Halahot Ed Neda Noda, Didiskil, Horoshido, Penkisautation, Alserigi E, Didol Kit, Nash Ani, Tohot O Sanida, Tohot O Bitatis, Chit Nanigi, Ela and Nidat, it the Neda non Didiskit, Hodona Kigoben Kilchohodation, Alserigi. La hot o la nal sos hadalia le la shanal nesto sani la shanal nes aros tui la shanal nes a hot o ba honne aro beni nache astigi tsanelt do e hodet kehida ara zena ke il kiddo ab kedo shthonne on nache helt aro ho sani shanal nesgi jo ba hodol nilto kushinna de zenjono shanal nesto he denebanant an jono ho nanshish nesgi bin nache hot ende kade shanal kade ye go hawande shetkhaz anigi ete shosmenina dina nishbetsan shato lekha no ye shetholne Adol Stashine, Ado Hahoda, Ahode, Abohone, Zandito, Jonoda, Ultra Ishlago, Nande Deshnes, no, Nalso Sedila, Stashine, Bedinin, Adona, Kigone, Edish, Kate, the Satanigi, and Le Stada, Zestran, the Moas, Nedan, Le Peshmas, Anbetato, Hashit, O, Peshmas, Anits, Ado, Hadzi, do. Dit o di shidil edo dit o do hojo na anishta da no hanei la ado biskane alto le ni nal sos bi to Facebook nanigi to het o shi dit do hot o shite chido ba iho shichi ha o zi do yat ehi beleganic ache sexual harassment sexual assault hat no sari la Arobin in Nachaban Sana Hakeso, Haila Yalt no, Hajonal Sosto, Ladder Danesh in Aronat Aban Nassus Keso, in Le August, Dan Hohot Edam, Le Best Hiltra Asko, Le Halahot, Haishebinina, Doshish Hodnet, Alsa, Hat Noye, Shiliadina, Hode Hilna Hodilne, Hat Noye, I'll say yes, Washia. Arobani Nache, Halet all a Naka de Shwalto, a Sansidit on the Khazan de Sheat at any cases a dot at the Shiketa Santanigibin in Nache, Ndin Sinigibin in Nache, Najin Spado, Jono Nances, Casey-Gibin in Nache, Hadil Nehat Noye, August and down, Shia Iya, Aro Shiribich Nahot, Hanoya, Hait or a Shadi, Shakadil was no, a Bacha delia. Arona Kigon and Nanigi in Le Shanal Nishigi Lahot and Nigi Shanal Nishtul Aro, which in a Hilganigi Tegobahodol no it look but the Holia Ado do hate order by Ihobit Hasti do by Ihoda Bedesh Chidit Oye et de Shwaltobaka de Shwaltebini a Edebini a heat Aj do Hilnasil Neshes Angion. Aronat ant o bahat zedit o sad naiz neldo ben aslo sadi lagi edosliat eta khaish ebniye hot o hajot zin so toban nat aban sahakes do hit oder tishlaro do hit oder ba ihobedesh chidro di innet obedin nida hot o nenda edel kido khaish ba yedel kit on son naso nakis kanda Le press conference and le nal sos says lahada deal nito horobel ganek achibel haudesh no huista lashin hat eskista no son le YouTube do le ni nal sos we do ebel ganek achat en nesel Dia bdo baho iho shike hodest anigido the keo tasatanigi din sinigido hot edem the netos din sinigoshi di na nishtan tsagi shadi lilto hat nida dondem di na nishbad na trat nas nilibch in da hast egijone trat nas nilen benannt ala nlinde ebini na jajon da di kasto delno da di nilto le stuido sanida Chihada beden trado satada bekebe da sahigida digi hajoba da dil nilto di neba Washington but del nishigi saten da halnehigi hajot nebchiyat kyo enda di kastam Aronle Masado Late Shado bitch in the Hoyt Nanigida, Hajoda Kin Sabanda Dot Alto, Zeba das Enigido, Benda Nishigida, Yego, Tehota Dil Nisha Nanigida, Aro the net action plan Nanigi, the Nea Hayu, Division of Social Services Base or Sozigi Nach Ebenda Dil Nisho, Le the Ne Zechna Ilahigida Banda, Edo Jeholondo, Alchini years the Tidal, Enigibin that no Wahat Nanigi, nothing can build town. Digi Nanashidili Adonle Hajo da Inishigida Miss Navajo, Navajo Pen, the ne youth counters, Hajo Bikadin Edon Jono, Bakason Zon Banan now, hot ohani dos dodin Sindahat Nanigi Edo hot Edo, the Quigoshi Nan Nishpad na Leshil Kedanshi ni hot end the Kate as a Tanigishi do yo Nan Nishpadet at the door, Don Hashi Bahozet leader, Neshedo hot owns case jo Behanasti. Shamasanido, Shamado, Shastado, Shalchinilla Benina Sani, Yego Dinsin, Ebedina Thobakodini, Sani, Lenigi, Hoto Shayat, Hiasido Belt, Eda. Nasadanal sauce be Yudoba Yodabacado, Haishi, by Yadel at end, Nikan Kitbadahausen, Adamo, Nao Tel Hodo, but the Neshigi, Nan Nishona, Del Yado, Yesin Nan Nishan Schagi, but the Neshigi, the Benkil National, for the Nana Stado, for the Nana had Nenigi. She had our kissigi, she had a lechon here at the Mona outlet on Kisbadahausen. A hot end, dear Hodo, but Laganic at a hug. Le meeting as Leo a side hug day dot skinlo hug ishlado sha office dot nana dot eda by just ke huinzo hashet o nido le joke the kushin asado ba anache ka bahun sindo bikhodini dos ke that's done da to be masanado shanala be the shnoye kebina anish nida ya yast ke huinzo nasdo nat anche ba nasis kes do hashi Hunzago Yinch do not Hunesenta tota do Hashi the Schnuga Diet or Naka de Schwalto illa nidil ado beni nache a head the KCZ Strasi nest cables and the Ashenden hot ocean the car and the short or the hodo Huin Zenet or sad na use nillo nalt sauce la hedi la nalt sauce hedi lagi don't lay nalt sauce says zimbich hoteshla a hot oe at any bad the housel di Hot Ada August and that did onal sauce hedi like I didn't catch bad the housing. She Holoban says case or should be nini they are which be they need nish to a lad on in the Benina hot ega ishe a langent in Edo Hajota in Nista Ebenina Hodo Ayoto Hashit on his ho Igi Hodo Toba Yasin sto see yego yet the nebuchir nahot che bamado bejadn eta ten hawanda beta ten a teen of nahot eto as tweedo sani the bits east of chin the has eto a lad the quigoshi che alchadil ne hwadito says at zago tal negin dan agi doshyat eta khaishe binina di hot arafat nat adoban nasus case dishi hold yela politics hot o naso the net zago kaya daltkido sad del do bini nach ado alto njono shin jol nisho shin to hot o nen jono le kano kaya daltkile eshibina do ban nat aban nasus case si njono shin nishin ya hot o ha shidene dash to shaya daltkin naso Navajo Times at zada le big hai ka del asido shliat etelo khajoye do le alla Shido ajido hoje hajo nideya nal sospik dejo zohit o shikij nahalo kadashi kushin dezed se bidat in dezed o shikene janalo eshi Navajo Times in the dol sosigi shido do belt eda hajo de ne hajo ni binye hanne becheda just on nehi dole so not also banses case got kushin dezed to shathina alta honna so shnant he khanzi do not anloban nasus keso ha ishe bin yahas dot dini na nish bin yahat shla diet o de schroto de nebasizin do sha da is niligi den sinigi bin nache do at zauyest ket de win zoye ebenina do yo ha ida de schnide hodo do da innishigi Eshi Yego Kilbada Hosino, the Neden Diedel Kido, do hate order skit as a Danigi Tishlar, do hate order Bedish Chido, hate order Dishadi little the ebony nature, Dina de Schlit hat Nenegate, but then Diet or de Schroth Ebony, this son Schoingi Shikid dot Aligi Eheni bin yet the Nebenant Asli, Diet the Ne, Baka de Schroth, Joy Kidan Ben His Nashne. The nest sound the Nebenant Atish, Yego Idilka, na Nishibeketi na to asi ahun sinon handi to the Nebeke Baka deal wasne a erebanses keso yishnishtin eda id the Nedobasiada at Zago Sacha da yini at Jos wasna hadlo ha shin sad da yini na kinana Hagoshin da sin haji ha ishebin ya Zago sad da just no aros lots adult eta no the big hata to yash hoda huinzo Ayoshin Arohad Akisi, Nishin Hidet, so the Nashi Hot Oya, Yadat, Jobe in Daltosne. It was sad, Kate and Niten, and Abich and Hol to Art Zaba as Nagido, Eshin in Nachin Jonoshin, Haid Nishin, Ebina Hot O, a Sabich had Nist Oshinda Nitole, Shehodo bases in a game, Shemasana Hullo, Shemahulone, Shedeja Hullo. Le Shamaya said the Hodno do, but Nash and Egido, KKS, na Kinash is those sunny this year the house up. Ebonina, do Hashi but your sunny bands, case the she are aided, the Shine Sandobin that ordered Nebenant Asli, hot o sunny dinsen, edit all those sad but yo. Had Niligi, Ayota, the Shlan, Hishing Ayot, Dakadil, to Hato Jona Nisha, Edebin, da in the shen, where I own that is see. She Hilton Hidet Italy. She mustn't know she chedon, she Eden or Senegi. I added the house okay. Haishe, what any is sad. A lad chedid or little Adam Yahaba a dust. I don't thought the queen also no that the chapter Tatnas, the little Hashin also did Lebanon, Nachahotos, Neshan, ate the net, ate the Lebanon, yet ate she asked at any stars he can. Don't the Lebanon Abba Titi, Kado, Dahonil, Nanigibin in nature, at Zagosar had a deal nil. Arosasto, Hashi, Chay, peso, $1 million, had a lesson in the no, eat that, no, yeah, a job in Kisnaho deal, Nene, yes, Tihashi, Nalsosis, Nanal, don't need danger either. Peso, the never Washington, the George, Rodensha, Adoro, Sani, Tiji, La, Nodaba, Hanaji, Benina Yabadolt, what energy that the Nenan did, but the Hones Nado, Tobasiada, Eta, Nenegi, Shadow Eban's case, shake at ended the Nepasses to Sha, Aigida, the Neda shot Zido, the Nabiga had a Shenende, which is when on the Shidet, Egi, Shada is Nilne, Banasha. Ask Jot and Nate, the Nebenant, and Shenegibin in Asian, Yego Bedas Nita, dear, I was shit, so she did, Hotohasi, Sada, no, Teho. Aro totally radit ahit so this cup bedin need le peshmans an na nde zidom ayada sa haskens ada tsea ni hot in the toska nene she hoti ni own the oska is it there ladonans in the adan the oska so sin jono hatos kesado beninach hajo de neyan sinada hakes in the shi hanana skenjo did the nebenant ado at in the nene in the shin the don says zindaba kat the lest Hate all says Zindo de Oshin Nenegia Ede cut it so as didn't on the Aska Hashi or the Schnee the Aro at Zao Nachatasi Zido Hashi had needle. Asian been in a Robanza case to list. Aro sto Shashi Shaketa Satagi Shat Zagosha Nana hold Neto Hajoa Nisadi Yiz Nedo Beninach the Nehite Orashan Sidaki as Jashi Hoshi Lande. Jut the Nebenant Agile dog Nishle, dog Ebena and Nishigi, do Shenalaja Linigi Beninache, Jut the neck at a peacemaking desne, Hajohe, as he indeed, Asto Hajona Hodil, Neto Hajoto le, Nahat Asana dole, Shaketnasan Zidoles, Dishina Nish the Nebebis Nahosnegi, Shaketson Zon, Shaketna Eschato, Shakanan, but it handed it as no. peacemaking eda ze ashon bigat do nilo aro hajo alke nado tato shiketnanas zindole dreben in nache ahot o banses case schashi biga hashish din ne joshe khodo bansa case de ne yet khidahoni to de asi baha ihoda slabatin da has ando cheta cha khwich ebeni nache to hajo to le to peacemaking hajo ke nadi tashe nenigi eya sto bitchen huishla aro to khodo de kui go shin de nebe bisin da hasna si yego de nebe Washington be kay ba khaw and nahot de nen da nishigi sa nit khida badilya sa ni ba hi da badilya epe has ani do bekitast kid e do bekitast ida eben da dil nishdin ni lo de schnell to khodo die do ha shido ado shaya dalt ke de shnira die nitla de ne khot khida bedel ento nit ne yego khida yagi be has ani do bekita ashqida alcheda dil nit hot o en khsani don gestrido khida ir do bad ihunda bed chid do le khanigi yesbe cases ado so ashish has anigi office of the president and vice president sto bekahota inishigi no nalsos da inishigi edo khan khadel netane de kuishi de nebaland ana nahot leto do khan khadel netane eshin khadel dilni belaganek ache the buck stops with me the dishni eshi wan jgono khadel yag eshi nasta hote jesus de nebaland ada wa da nanes dar apa hazine da inishto leto khan khadel ne alchida dilni ta shnoya aron leto beshmahas ando shishas has anigira department of personnel dide ba yat kegen jgonon da doch kansto be has anila khadad dos zoto shtaton da dos so belaho shije bekhat shil nenegi eben da hoit arole aro so commission nenegi de kuigo shinte ne beke da hodel don ne ha le de ne beke bekhat khadi khatole da isinil tsam di de hoshit ilga di to na shit chit di to shit ha zi hat nenegi yesif de never came a card had a commission hat nenegi aro sheto aro khasata inst aro pini nache pen kelna ho negi be nal sosto be has ani ndadi qas no ebe hodan asjashi biga hashit ninde di to che da shiltkende shedo hot obansis case that jo solutions hat nile belaganik ache di nehi sad di to da dil nil bayast kege hot de never Washington bekat de nedel nishigi ba khayadole bekidest idole nije no epe has ani be khaholjiz nakas nal sos jo khada del ne ikahot nedel nishigi hot bedadil dil nish shaba hot no sinal khodoshi ba naste hit khoro khilnahshne dole ado na nishn schage be da nishigi I signed 2 historic legislation for water rights Arizona Ishilse aro New Mexico di khosdoha zoje kadaze thattin no kushina khe di denebanan ol yanigi bich laol da beshwas anda lahot enigi yana kha aro chel khadat ada dik anda adelya se yego o zebenant ada aro southern payubenant ada aro shisenigi be landa sit ledon ke beshwas anlo an ke ken nikhego unanimous votes and all the councils and full support of the leaders of all 3 tribes as you hoto yego bedas nitlasi di hot any be hanasti yego na nishtan tsagi yesebchen da hand agi do de kushina khche dal ene njgono da ilgan sobansis kes kade Washington bedet itole kashin njgono arshi na hon shlodol heyen kedne hoje ke da hat enigi trodenzen hat no kashin are thanana star hodo niln sobansis kes li hot di bedahosidit anadan Eshiat za dosina hodo nil di dan zikhatin don khand chehda na nishbaha hol jish no ayod ne ya cheda zlone hot ende azliya qad le Washington kin nahal qede ekabch holga eshi aro lana da asli do Washington benanta yiji ke de so shin jono hone la thon hedet to le no eshi ban khilta hojo le hoje shata nisgi lo bebch hanaste debinina Denil nish na nishbichin da hond agido tro nezet dina khirale ban saha kesigi lobinye ho na nishbinye khada sella da bedshno khada inishigi ba kheta nidzin Ado to le Rio San Jose Basin, New Mexico, just to hot hone la tro, de ni kere lobini nache. Sin ban kiltahojo. Ishi be nasko be khayada hot etoni be khaste ashsin sabiga hada dit ande nan nishedal ene njgono onte kasto del ne ote esto he dini dole not en beshmas anda no senegi khodo dal gorigi sa no tanigi njgono ta ilya olya khilna anish tenne yesebich na hoy nanigi edeben yedit don hand denil nishle ebe hehen kedini dolelo do peshmas andano senigi koroye tenebananta Dr. Boo Nygren hoje nahoil jiso Thursday 1 o'clock 5:30 hada okisgi hehen kedini dolelo ti yen keltalo don kikinada hojutlo na de no khatale hakone.
Good afternoon. Yad Arnold Scott, that was Argo, Shik Ash, the Nash, the Yon Arnold Scott, that was Argo, that is not Agi Yad Hidini Dole, Shea Sarah Slim, Hinchiedo, Navajo Hopi Land Commission, Executive Director, Hashil Son Law Non Nishigi Shanala Dr. Boo Nygren, President of the Navajo Nation, also Rochelle Montoya Kut Shil Son Law Aja Hunt each Non Nish Hut Ashalak Salado Yoba Helido Hashil Son Law Kodo Nihidan Eya Bandel Nish Ado Donna and Schlinigi Eyat Na Jenny Donna and Shlon Chishabash do Twitch eatni da she do touchini da shinale di hut eya de ne san shli don le touch is sa ana holia ade eya hashil son lo ade nasha do sha alchin holo do hashil son lo amma do amma sana do analan shlo kun zahn lo edene the Sabina Kahot Zana de Eya Hashil Son Law, the Nekot, the Hus Argo Enan Nishba de Quichi do Hashil so, but Hehil Nekona Nishin Sagi, Hilak Enas Lado, at the Hus Argo to the Totazend Eya Be, Kut our Eya Hashil Son Law, Nihinale Eya Kona Nishba de Okon Hilwajishin Lido, also Eba Henson or Ehot Abba Hastito, Adon the Kuja Navajo Hopi Land Commission, Hat Nijo Eya. It's a department that falls under the office of the president. We have a staff member of 5. ARPA funds. 14 million. Navajo Hopi Land Commission, CJN 2922, modular homes, Neniki, Jokon Kunza, the Eya, Behazani, Hatit Ehegi, A Lata, Chid, or DCD is our oversight, Benachigo, A Behazani, Aho, intergovernmental agreement, A Hatit Edo, Ado, and the Kodo, the Nehawan, Bicheta, Bichoda, Nifiki, Ejo, Behazani, Hatadod, Nil, no Ejo, A Arjun, the office has Ado, A. We developed the housing application and eligibility criteria. At the next regular Navajo Hopi Land Commission, at the same time, also we have 2 community involvement specialists that covers the Tlajin region and most of NPL, and I have 1 that covers the western part of the reservation. She covers the 9 former Bennett Freeze areas and most of the NPL chapters. 14 million modular homes the Nahashin Son Law Bagan Bichotadol Netlikijo A Behas Anik A assessment adol Nito Heya Hawandains and Niki. So we're working with chapters. Right now our office is tasked with going out into the remote areas, depending on where these individuals, these beneficiaries are located within the 23 chapters across NPL and former Bennett Freeze. Home assessment. I am encouraging our staff to come up with 4 names per chapter. Navajo Hopi Land Commission, 14 million modular homes. although the beneficiaries although very quickly here, moving forward, hopefully by the first part of June, we hope to finalize the individual who will be receiving these homes. And at the same time, we're also cross-referencing with all of the chapters, most chapters that receive the 24 region ARPA funds. Some of those chapters have also are rolling out projects where they're purchasing homes for a lot of their clienteles. And then veterans, the Neho one Bebeka Ayed, Ado Okune Eya, Chid, Stohashinson Lot, the Hois Ago, 110 chapters go Eya, Hanna Elia, Dohowan. So not we're going to sit down and we're going to really understand who we're serving, the beneficiaries, the list of names. We're going to move forward, and hopefully we'll be moving forward with the purchase of these modular homes. Although RFQ, I know the Office of the President within the past 3 weeks, working with CHID, they were moving forward to give out the award letters, and so we just need to come back together and get our directions from our oversight, which is Division of Community Development, in terms of when we're going to move forward to really begin to move with the contractors that we're going to be assigned to. To my understanding, they're supposed to hire 8 contractors. So 14 million has at the next Navajo Hopi Land Commission meeting, and we do look forward to getting that document blessed so we can start moving those projects, implementing those projects. The relocation funds, housing, infrastructure funds, education funds, and feel free to call our office 928-871-6441. Adenek echo a nast a na kitsebi tsebi tostet atha hastra di atha kutao aya Navajo Hopi Land Commission Office the Hosneto, although the relocation funds, if Ninigidro a relocatees done Lini, the Hoisago, Kedahat Inigi, those are the people that can tap into these funds. From now to the end of the fiscal year, these funds are available, and we hope to draw down these funds by the end of the fiscal year. And again, 928-871-6441. Navajo Hopi Land Commission Office. Navajo Hopi Land Commission, though over the years they have administered what's called the Navajo Rehabilitation Trust Fund. NPL chapters, the 23 chapters that we work with, and also including the former Bennett Freeze chapters, over the years have tapped into the Navajo Rehabilitation Trust Fund. Chapters can come up with a proposal and put forth their project before the commissioners, and when funds can be applied to the various projects that are awarded from the Navajo Hopi, the Navajo Rehabilitation Trust Funds. I'm sorry. Allah son long 19 million to begin with, and over the past 10-15 years, a lot of those chapters, they implemented their projects, and to date some of those funds are still sitting in these chapter accounts. At the last Navajo Hopi Land Commission meeting, there was some discussion that brought some attention to a lot of these funds that are sitting in the chapter accounts. Although there are some discussion to begin to really analyze those numbers, the Navajo Rehabilitation Trust Fund, chapters the onas and in a good spirit of getting those funds back. Jo kwa gishi e ya hashin son lo e ne besh bahas ani ya yent and a kodishji the halet investats dot nil e dot ya. If there's other projects that certainly these funds can be applied to, but at the next commission meeting, we hope to have some more streamlined discussions so I can get my directive in terms of which direction we'll be moving with addressing the Navajo Rehabilitation Trust Fund, whether it means to claw those funds back or begin to take a closer look at the chapters to see what their challenges are. The Navajo Rehabilitation Trust Fund, the unspent funds that are sitting in the chapter accounts without naming the chapters based on the projects. We're talking about $3 million, basically, that's still sitting in the accounts of the Navajo Hopi Land Commission. Lastly, we're also, my community involvement specialists are making their way the neediest of the needs ARPA funds trailer. They're working closely with the chapters. We're also working closely. Some of the council delegates are being approached by their clientels, the beneficiaries. They're saying that we've been overlooked. Maybe if you guys can take a closer look at our housing situation. Our staff, our 2 community involvement specialists are making their way to these homes and they're assessing those homes. White Cone has community manager. The chapter manager of White Cone chapter did a very good job. She quickly, expeditiously went out and she conducted her own home assessment. Of course, she was able to turn over 10 names, and they were all these 10 people that were populated from within the community of White Cone. They were able to produce all the necessary documentation. And in order to be served with these ARPA funds, it's important that these beneficiaries, that you have a home site lease in hand. Opinion chapter has there was 5 homes that were assessed. Forest Lake Black Mesa A4 Jedito has we have our community involvement specialist Wilbert Goy. He's going to be making his way. He's working, making his way over to Jedito. So within the next week or so, he should be able to come and work closely with the chapter staff and to see if there's any individuals that they're recommending so our staff can go out and conduct their home assessment in the community of Jedito. Hard Rock, there was 2 home visits that were made. Low Mountain, Tachi Blue Gap, Tisto, Chilchimbito, Shanto, Hooperwell, NPL, there was 23 home visit that was conducted by Wilbert, and Wilbert is our community involvement specialist that's assigned to work through the Zitlagene region and always as far as White Cone. But this is a work in progress, and so hopefully over the next couple of weeks we hope to go and visit each of the chapters and really be able to go and identify who these individuals are that will be served with the ARPA funds. We have the other community involvement specialist, Rochelle Nez, and she's covering most of Western Navajo. To date, she's been able to conduct 80 home visits, and out of the 80 home visits, 45 was populated, and those individuals that live within the former Bennett Freeze area. Home visit. For example, there was one family within the community of Black Mesa when anytime that there's these resources that's made available, my community involvement specialist went and came to one house and to conduct his assessment. And they were also asking to be assessed one decision that was made out of that was he went ahead and conducted one home assessment. So the neediest of the need, Diego Hagan, a lot of our people are homeless. When our community involvement specialists come out, let him or her know the situation that's out there, because we're covering a lot of area, and we don't want to be missing a lot of families out there that could certainly be served with these ARPA funds. On behalf of the Navajo Hopi Land Commission, OPVP, every week na halong division directors giban ato hashil son lo nihitane ko ago ba huiche date on janon nisho Jashi ko dates the shik ko so the zinigi hashil son nihinat ani itzila state and linigi ko at 7 zanigi nishigi yego so the zinigi ben hedafni jo ko yego na ye and the has the chindo heshi homelessness that the nini jo ko which na pa linigi aja hashil son lo na nishigi hilak nazlado akut jashi yego na nishbich in the hunt and the ko hajo hi na nishto kon hi president ko hashin so ye hat zik edabitn dast okudat ego hashin so betladal ne ko hon so kodoshik de ko da hus ago da is not agi hon so hij hanne shlado konaha sendo. Enjoy the rest of your weekend ado kodosha ho agi. Thank you.
Yat Justin Hastinja, do net Slinigi Belagana and Sle, Kotsene Bassistin Belagana Edasache, Nana, Kisane Edasanella, Akot Egotene Hastin Shle. My name is Justin Hastin. I'm the executive director for the Navajo Nation Washington office. And really, just wanted to emphasize, looks like we're having audio trouble. Okay. All right. I think we're good. All right. So first and foremost, thanks, Sarah, for highlighting our community in White Cone. Really appreciate all the hard work that goes out there and what the Navajo Hopi Land Commission is doing. Since we last spoke, there's been several developments, and these last few weeks have been really focused on pushing the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act amendments. We're at a really critical juncture at this moment in time. The sunset date, which means the program expiration date, is currently listed for June 10th. That means that this is the last week that, or this upcoming week is the last week that Congress has to act on either extending or expanding the program. And our office has taken the firm position under the direction of President Nygren and Speaker Curley to really emphasize the need for expansion to ensure that our post-71 uranium miners are included and they can receive benefits, as well as expanding the downwind eligibility coverage across the entire state of Arizona. When you look at a map, you have the Nevada test site and the Trinity test site. Right smack in the middle is Arizona, and the Navajo Nation takes a large portion of northeastern Arizona. So we really want to be able to ensure that our people are able to take advantage of this program once it is expanded. There's also going to be a lot of technical fixes within the program itself. It actually reduces the exposure period from 2 years to 1 year, and it also increases the amount of diseases that are covered, as well as the areas of coverage. So you could have been anywhere in the entire state and you may be able to receive coverage, rather than what it currently is a few zip codes and a few counties that have been identified. So that has been the push. This past week, there was an attempt by Senator Lee of Utah to introduce a short 2-year extension, which doesn't do anything other than extend the current program for 2 years. We had opposed that initially, primarily because we believe in that the expansion, it is time for an expansion to ensure that our Navajo people who worked in the uranium mines are appropriately covered, as well as those who are affected by the atmospheric testing from the U.S. federal government. To date, we still have over 500 abandoned uranium mines. Many of them have been cleaned up. So we continue to push that and really try to hold the federal government accountable for their actions. This past week, Speaker Johnson brought the RECA extension onto the calendar for a vote that would have taken place on June 3rd. But after our advocacy, along with our coalition partners, Speaker Johnson has pulled that extension vote. So right now, we still have hope that the expansion will be included. And when we talk about extension versus expansion is really only extending the program the way it is for 2 years. What the Navajo Nation is pushing for is the expansion to include everyone that was initially left out of the original legislation. And so we're primarily focused on that. I've been working very closely with the Navajo Nation Council on a potential emergency resolution to support that, as well as revamping up some of the meetings that we'll have over the next week with Navajo leadership, including President Nygren and Speaker Curley. Aside from RECA, we've also been working on the Arizona and New Mexico water rights settlements. As President Nygren indicated earlier, that he signed 2 historic pieces of legislation, one for the Arizona water rights settlement and the second for the New Mexico water rights settlement. So we will begin planning and engaging with our congressional members to start getting that vetted through the congressional process and hopefully implemented and funded so that we can start delivering water to the much needed areas on the Navajo Nation. Some other events that we've been taking part of in the last few weeks, I recently attended a Indigenous law panel that really talked about the need for tribal consultation and allowing tribes to exercise their self-determination and being able to be heard when federal decisions are being made at the table as it relates to federal Indian policy. Historically, there hasn't been a very good job with the federal government on conducting consultation. We've seen that time and time again. And we've tried to re-emphasize the need for adequate consultation. And that doesn't mean just throwing things in the Federal Register. That actually means sitting down and conducting dialogue with tribal leaders and making sure that we understand what it is that they're trying to pass, and then for them to address our concerns. So that's something that we've really been pushing. This was primarily focused on space policy. As you remember, in January, President Nygren issued an opposition to a NASA-sponsored or NASA-funded mission to the moon that carried human remains that would be scattered across the moon. And we really took offense to that, not primarily because it is a cultural sensitivity issue, but it really was conducted without consultation with tribes. Navajo Nation being one of the largest tribes, we issued an objection for a similar event in 1998 when then President Albert Hell found out that the remains of Eugene Shoemaker were being sent to the moon, and it crash landed on the moon. From there, NASA did promise that it would consult with Native American tribes in the future. As we kind of progressed through the future, this past January, that promise was not honored. So we re-emphasize the need to honor the commitments that the federal government has made, because promises don't expire no matter how long time passes, and we want them to acknowledge and recognize our tribal sovereignty. So that's something that we took place over the last week. Additionally, I was honored to attend the White Cone Veterans Organization's Memorial Day event this past Monday, really to pay tribute. As a military service member myself, I served in the Marine Corps, working headquarters Marine Corps Legislative Affairs at the Pentagon in DC, and I understand firsthand the camaraderie, the need to recognize our service members, because they go above and beyond, and they take a moment out of their time to really serve the people of the nation and protecting our freedoms and liberties. So I was really honored to take a part of that celebration, celebrating the lives that have been lost, but not just the lives of veterans, but everyone who have passed, and giving that recognition. So we really appreciate that. Things that we can expect over the next few weeks. Again, as I stated, President Nygren and Speaker Curley will be coming to DC over the next week to advance our water rights discussions and to advance RECA. The goal is to try to get Speaker Johnson to pull the RECA amendments to the floor for a vote before June 5th, which is the last date of congressional action before the program is sunsets and expires. So that's really what our focus is. That's been the talk on the Hill these last 2 weeks. The House was in recess the last week and a half. Now that they're back, this is #1 priority. So until then, we appreciate the time, and we'll update you as soon as we hear more back. Yeah, thank you.
You ready? Yeah.
Yate. This is Michael Anderson, your Executive Division Director for the Division of Public Safety, as appointed by Dr. President Nygren. I wanted to talk about 3 quick things today. One was just more informational, and then kind of an update on our information management section, which oversees primarily our criminal traffic history reports. And they work with several different offices and departments, primarily the Office of Background Investigation. But I really wanted to highlight the services and actions that they have accomplished over the last few months. I got an email from the supervisor, Amber Arviso de Hosey, the program supervisor, and that overall gave us information as to where they're at, because we had given them a lot of backgrounds that needed to be updated, and we gave them a very big task, and they accomplished that. And that's why I wanted to identify them and recognize them and make sure that they understand that we appreciate the services and accomplishments that have been done over the course of the last few months. But in her email that she sent to me last week, she said, "I'm delighted to update you on the significant progress we have made with the incoming backlog and pending criminal traffic history record statistics for the information management section. These numbers are not just figures, but they serve as a tangible measure of our collective efforts and unwavering commitment to enhancing our services." Amber goes on to say, during the 2 weeks before the end of 2023, the special assignment of the Navajo Police Department District Public Records Clerk Assistance was to reduce 2,088 pending requests. 2,088. She acknowledges and says, and I too recognize that it's a challenging endeavor that was taken on by her staff, as some of them were just starting their on-the-job training. We kind of got into this situation because of during the COVID years that we had a high number of backlog. So when they came out of that period, we had to bring on new staff, and Amber and her team were able to address those pending requests. Following the special assignments, they completed a significant amount, but bringing the pending number down by the end of the year. So they went from 2,088 mid 2023 to 1,735 at the end of 2023. Now here's the significant part. As of this week, they are down to 0, not indicating any pending requests that come in this week, but in the course of less than a year, they were able to get from 2,088 pending requests down to 0. Very significant accomplishment. And again, I want to take this time to recognize the staff of our information management section, as well as our police records clerk, for working together to accomplish this task. And so we appreciate that very much. Yeah, it's Hago. Last week, there was a proclamation that was entered in by Dr. Nygren, and I want to take this time, although the proclamation was for last week, I want to make sure that we do recognition in case it wasn't heard or we missed it. But last week, declaring May 20th to May 24th of 2024, Dr. Nygren, our president, did a proclamation for the Navajo Nation Emergency Medical Service Week, wherein it was a EMS week, a national campaign endorsed by the American College of Emergency Physicians and National Association of Emergency Medical Technicians to direct attention to the importance of emergency response in saving precious lives. The proclamation goes on to recognize EMS as a vital public service and that they serve the safety net of the Navajo Nation's healthcare system. The members of the EMS team are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours, 7 days a week, just as each member of our uniformed staff through the Division of Public Safety, be that EMS, law enforcement, criminal investigations, internal affairs, fire and rescue, emergency management, Department of Corrections, all are there to provide public safety. But this proclamation goes on to just recognize during that week EMS. And understanding and recognizing the access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. Whereas the emergency medical services team consists of emergency medical responders, EMT recruits, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, EMT supervisors, field operation managers, EMT instructors, and coordinators, and administrators. And the families also recognize of the emergency medical service care team have endured endless sacrifice and continuous support of their loved ones while performing their duties to save lives. Dr. Nygren went on to recognize it was appropriate to understand the value and accomplishment of the emergency medical service providers by designating Navajo Nation Medical Service Week. Again, that was last week, May 20th to May 24th. And we appreciate Dr. Nygren for recognizing our professionals within the Division of Public Safety, specifically the emergency medical team. Chris Cascola and his team are doing a tremendous job for the Division of Public Safety and specifically the emergency medical service team. So again, a hat to all those that are working in that field, as well as, again, I say this every time, but I don't want to not say it. I want to make sure that we recognize all the members of the Division of Public Safety, be that uniformed or not, our administrative team, our operational team, the people behind the scenes that are there to make sure that our people in the Division of Public Safety and the different departments that we have are recognized on a daily basis as to the efforts that they put out to provide public safety for the Navajo Nation. So if you see an officer in any one of those departments that I mentioned, make sure you take the time to say thank you and express your appreciation to all that they do and that they do for the Navajo Nation. And then for you, again, a 24/7 hour job. I really appreciate all their efforts behind the scenes, on the scene, and in between. So thing that's coming up this weekend, the fair rodeo events going on starting tomorrow, Friday, the 31st, June 1st, and June 2nd. Significant importance to recognize that you take the time to be careful as you're coming in to travel to or from the event. Make sure, again, that your vehicle is properly maintained and prepared for that travel. Watch for traffic. Please be careful as you're driving down the road. Observe the traffic laws. Watch out for the other driver. Make sure your family knows where you're at, where you're going, and when you're going back, especially when you have elders and young people that are traveling over to maybe enjoy the weekend at the rodeo. When you get on site, please be aware of the signs. Watch out for the traffic control officers that are out there providing traffic control. Sometimes it's hard to see officers doing their job who are directing traffic. And we're more interested in getting over to the carnival because we see the lights or the horses, whatever. So please be careful as you approach the rodeo grounds. Use the proper entrances, watch the signs, pay attention to where you can go in and where you need to come out. And don't enter those areas where you're not supposed to be at. That makes it only harder for the staff of the rodeo event and our members of the Division of Public Safety who are trying to ensure that you are enjoying a safe weekend at the events of the rodeo. And be aware again where your family is at. Be prepared as far as your vehicle is ready to go, and that you enjoy the weekend. So that's what we want you to do, is to have a good time, be safe, travel carefully, watch out for the other driver, and enjoy the weekend. So on behalf of the President's Office and the Division of Public Safety, I want you to enjoy the weekend. I want you to be safe. I appreciate all your support for the Division of Public Safety and the different departments. Again, Mike Anderson, thank you very much and have a good weekend.